morning. This is the video newsletter for buyitsellshort.net for Sunday, June 20th. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Let's jump into the industry charts right now. Overall market rally continued this week. We are now up 700 points from the lows seen about 10 days ago. Granted, this rally has mostly been on the back of the large cap stocks. Most of the market has been pretty dead, or the runs have been sort of random. As you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see we're still in this bearish rising wedge. Support right now is around 10,400. We get a better picture on the daily chart. You can see this is a very narrow rally that we have been in over the last couple of weeks. Kind of similar to what we saw back in February. What we need in this market right now, most of the action has been in the large caps. A lot of it has had to do with options expiration and, of course, stabilization in the Europe, which has been key. What we really need to see is the market sort of sideline. We've seen some of that over the last couple of days, but a trading range market of the 10,300 to 10,600 area over the course of a couple of weeks, similar to what we saw back in late February, would do wonders for this market right now, especially for the small and mid-cap stocks. Last couple of sessions of the week, extremely boring. Very little movement in stocks. Again, large part of the reason, options expiration. We do have some potential market-moving news out over the last day or so. China yesterday came out and said that they're going to revalue the yuan. Now, expectations were pretty high for that. The details they put out today sort of point to a similar, really no change in what they've done. They're going to reprice it tomorrow morning. The floating of the yuan is likely going to be very, very small. However, anytime China does anything that is even remotely positive, the market gets a nice little jolt out of it. So we could see a nice little pop in the market tomorrow. SMH over the last couple of days been sort of trading water. We need to see this one pop tomorrow. Again, options expiration, a big reason why we saw a lot of these large cap stocks just go to sleep on Thursday and Friday. US dollar, as I mentioned previously, has been very nice. It's been in a nice slow retrace, which has enabled the euro to stabilize, and that is pretty much all we needed. We're going to start to get earnings report out, start to flowing here really, really soon, and going to be very interesting to see how the market reacts to those news. Over the last few days, how you might have noticed, bad news has not had the impact that it has had on the market recently. We had Moody's come out. We had, some kind of negatively spun economic reports, and still the market was able to hold its gains. We get to see if that is legit this week. If it is, we really should start to see this rebound in the market start to spread out. And what we need for that to happen is the large caps to sort of go to sleep, kind of, and you'll start to see the speculative money move in. We're not seeing the large tanks that we saw that were commonplace over the last 8 weeks, and again, that is good. Going to take some time to build trader confidence back in this market, and the fact that we've gone a week or so without any big sell-offs in the market, even though there's been a lot of negative news, has been very, very good for the market. But let's jump into some stock plays here. ADLR, big disappointment for us. However, as I mentioned in the Thursday video, the news was not as bad as the headlines seemed. Bad news came out about their trial. Placebo did better than ADLR's drugs in the drug trial. However, if you look at the actual data, ADLR's drugs were also compared with oxycodone, which is an approved painkiller on the market, and both ADLR's pain drugs and oxycodone scored less than the placebo, meaning ADLR designed this trial very, very poorly. The data was related to the participants in the trial, not necessarily the drugs. And that's why after we saw that initial sell-off on the open, we actually saw some nice strength going into the close. However, $1.35 plus is, 10% lower than where we call the entry on this stock. Would definitely look to lighten up on this play. Only reason being to raise cash levels, sell half, raise the cash levels, and once the stock starts to establish a new trading range, we can always start to move back in and recoup those losses. EGHT, nice continuation on Friday. Volume sort of dropped off from Thursday, but again, that was more a function of the market. Reason we jumped into EGHT, despite the fact, or aside from the fact that it's an extremely cheap VOIP play, and looking at the multi-year chart here on the cusp of a very big breakout. Reason we jumped in was Vonage VG. Sort of after the big move and volume spike we saw in Vonage on Thursday, sort of eased off on Friday. Be interesting to see if we see follow through on this come Monday. Big reason for these moves, other than the chart breakouts in both these stocks, and I will send out an email on this probably Monday or Tuesday. We've got the Russell rebalancing this upcoming June 25th. Essentially, what that is every year the Russell indexes, the small cap indexes, rebalance. They dump the crappy stocks and they put in new stocks. A lot of the stocks that they're putting back in this year, they deleted last year. The reason this matters is usually these stocks see a nice little volume and price spike going into the rebalance. So VG, EGHT, CRXX, IKAN are among stocks that are getting added, and we should see some nice upside on the rebalance day, right before the close and after hours. There's usually some crazy spikes up on down on these stocks, so we're going to be getting our list ready for that event. IKAN been really disappointing this week. Looks like we possibly have a bottom here, triple bottom on IKAN at $1.70. Again, these guys get added to the Russell Microcap Index this week. I'm thinking this walk down was for the market maker to build up some inventory to sell to the funds who are going to be coming in here. Would be very surprised if we don't see this one spike tomorrow. And spike big. 20-day exponential, $1.90 plus is what I'd be looking for in a spike on this one tomorrow. Quick mention on LVLT, continues to be a nice little trader stock. Looks to be a great add around the 120 area. Breakout, close above 125, and then 130, 135 plus our scalp targets here. AIB, Allied Irish Banks, mentioned this one in the video a week ago. Down here in the 220s, hit 3 plus on Friday for a 30% gain. Not too bad. Again, as I mentioned, great risk way to play a bounce in the euro, and that just worked out perfectly over the last few days for us. Couple of stocks to keep an eye on this week. Sirius, another stock getting added back to the Russell Index this year. Breakout is $1.05. We could see a nice little spike in this one. Now, it's a very heavy volume trader. Upside potential 5 to 10 cent plus, but you know, that's a 5 to 10% gain. And it's got the kind of volume that you can trade or swing size on it. If you jump into this trade, your stops would be $1 on Sirius with $1.15 as a target. AERG, let's keep an eye on this one. Early this week, a stock is trying to break out and could give the potential for a pretty nice little run here. $1.50 to $1.75. RSI is breaking 50. MACD is about to have a positive cross. Stochastics are in a nice uptrend as well, and this could be a stock. Keep a very close eye on it. Nice volume spike over the last 2 days, and this is definitely a stock that could go on a pretty decent run here, as it's shown previously in the past. IMAX. Some of you guys have been asking for some more higher price stocks. IMAX has had a great year on the back of all the 3D movie releases. Triple bottom in place here. If the market continues to move this week, a break over the 20-day exponential at 1650 could give a very nice fast scalp to the 1750 to 18 plus area. If you do jump into this one, you would want to trail your stops at the 8-day moving average. That's at 1590 or thereabouts. RSI rising, positive MACD cross, stochastics deeply oversold. And, you know, for you guys looking for a higher price stock, IMAX is one that definitely could get a nice little run on a positive market this upcoming week. So that's pretty much it for the video. Again, we're still high cash, still pretty high caution. We're looking for this bounce in the market to start to spread out, which hopefully should begin this week with options expiration out of the way. Euro continues to stabilize. We've got positive news possibly coming from China tomorrow that could jam the markets. And fingers crossed. I mean, this market has been extremely boring for the last month. Time for some of those big movers to come back again. That's it for the video. Have a nice Father's Day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.